Yes, it's really here and we are really live. And allow me to welcome you to the first ever Lompoc Theater Project telethon. We are actually streaming to a lot of places in all of North America. We have viewers in Canada and Mexico, from the East Coast to the island of Hawaii. A lot of people are watching, a lot of people are excited, and I thank you all so much for joining us tonight. So, for the next 2 hours, you're going to have some really wonderful entertainment, not just local artists from Lompoc, but a lot of wonderful people that you've probably seen before. So, I want you to sit back and, most of all, pour yourself one of your favorite adult beverages. I actually prefer a Lompoc Pinot Noir. You might not know that Lompoc is a pretty established wine place that makes great Pinot. So please, I'm not going to drink this yet because I have to do things. I'm going to be asking you for money like a demented televangelist often tonight. So just bear with me. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tom Bergeron, and many people will make up for it by entertaining you. So sit back, have your nice adult beverage, because there's one thing we have learned in the nonprofit arena, that when you drink, you donate. 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 Okay. Hope you got the message. So I'm a senior citizen, as it turns out, and I have three numbers that are going to tell you why we're here tonight. And because I am a senior citizen, I am a master of the ancient art of analog. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So there are three numbers you need to know: 60, 0, and 4. So what do these numbers mean? Well, the 60 is 60,000. That's how many people live in the fair city of Lompoc, and these are some of the nicest, hardworking people you will ever want to meet. They are the caregivers and the home care givers and the healthcare workers. They're the people who pick the Pinot grapes and plant the Pinot grapes. They're the people who shoot off missiles at Vandenberg. They pick crops. They go and commute to all of the richer towns in Santa Barbara County, and they do the heavy lifting and a lot of the service work that the county depends on and thrives with. These 60,000 are the reason we're here tonight. Next number is 0. What does that represent? Well, that's how many venues these 60,000 people have to go to when they want to watch a concert or a play or see ballet or take their family to a great event. So what that means is that these 60,000 people who have commuted all over the county and worked their tails off on a Friday when they've had a nice week's work and they want to come home and take their family out or maybe go to a concert themselves, they have to get back in their car because this is what they have to go to in Lompoc. So they get back in their car with their family and they have to drive back to Santa Barbara and all the other places that they work at just so that they can be entertained. Does that seem fair? No, of course not. Last number, and it's a big one, $4 million. That is really, truly exactly how much the theater starts generating to the local economy the moment the doors open, and they generate that amount every single year. That doesn't count the 1 million the theater itself will be generating as well. Now that's a lot of numbers, but it's really crucial because those numbers change everything for a town that needs it, wants it, and deserves it. And to help you give me your money and give us your money, I'd like to introduce my co-host. Her name is Michelle Ball, and she is the producer of this and sort of technologically making this all happen. And thank God for millennials. Michelle Ball.
Thank you, Mark. I'm really, really excited to be here, and I'm super nervous, as I'm sure you are. We're obviously terrified that the feed will drop, so if anything does happen, we'll do our best to go back on and be live really, really quickly again. So just putting that out there just in case it happens. But this has been a lot of work to get to this point. We've had so many different people involved, including our entire board, who's worked really, really hard to get the word out about this, and then also get the incredible auction items that you've seen if you purchased a VIP ticket. We have lots of celebrity guests who are coming on to say a few words about our project and the importance of the arts in our community, including Tom Bergeron, who I'm very excited to replace me for MC duties so I can stop being so nervous.
Me too.
Right? He'll take a little load off there. He's been doing it a while, so that makes it easy. And then I'm so excited for the local artists. We have some stunning performances from them that were actually recorded inside the theater on the theater stage, and they are the reason why we are here, why we are doing this. We have so much talent here in Lompoc, and we deserve this theater. So I know we can do it. Our goal tonight is $50,000. We are already kind of about 20% of the way there, I believe. The last time I looked, let me look at that thermometer again. Yep, we're a little over 20% now. And we'll keep you posted on our progress throughout the night. So there's a few ways. We're calling this a telethon, but we will not be answering any phones tonight. We're going to be doing the new school communication, so modern communication, which is texting. So you millennials, you should be really familiar with this. Use your thumbs tonight and text the word telethon, all caps, lowercase, whatever case you want, to 805-307-7195. And yeah, donate as much as you can. Our auction will go until about 9 p.m. Well, until 9 p.m. on the dot tonight. And that is for VIP ticket holders. If you purchase a VIP ticket and you didn't get an email with the auction link, please message us. Somebody else will be responding and we'll be getting you that link. And if you didn't purchase a ticket yet, you still have time. So it closes at 9. So lots of work to be done.
And that $50,000 is, we're going to make that number tonight, and we're actually hoping to do more. But it's a magic number for us because for the first time we've hired a grant writer. We had an architect put out plans for the very first time that you're going to get to see tonight. All of that has been paid for, but we now need to take the next step forward. And in order to elevate ourselves to another level of grant writing, we have to, in any given year, produce $50,000 in income from programming. Right. Which is what this is right now. Everything you see tonight is stuff we're going to be able to do on our stage when that stage is done. Yeah. So hitting that goal tonight puts us into a whole level of funding that you guys are going to really make us get there. And I thank you in advance.
Yes. And hopefully we'll do our best to convince you as to why this is so important. And you'll keep following us. You'll keep supporting us. You'll keep spreading the word. And we're going to make this thing happen. Right?
Yep.
Awesome.
So let's hit the ground.
Awesome. So I'm so excited for our very first act. We have 3 very special ladies who made headlines last year when they wrote an original song that was inspired by the Broadway play Hamilton, which happens to be one of my favorite things ever. And I actually do my walks to look out, listening to the soundtrack. Anyways, so please welcome the Simmons sisters. So here we go.
We created a song. It started off as a project we had to do for a class, and it erupted into something that we never thought would happen. It kind of came about, she came up with the idea of the song title, Remember the Women, and that's where we kind of came up with Martha, Eliza, and Abby, and it kind of went from there.
I remember going home, I was like, guys, I had this idea, and I played it for them, and it was so bad, it was so terrible, and I was like, I don't even remember what I did. And then Malia's the one who remembered it, like she remembered the melody, and then we just like went from there, and it was so fast the way we wrote it.
Someone came up with a chorus line, and then we started from there, and we came up with the ideas of how we wanted to portray it and how we wanted to show like the different perspectives of these women in our history. So that's kind of how it started, and then from there we all had our input in how we wanted to relay the message. Like for Martha, it wasn't just me writing the Martha line, even though I'm the one that sang it, it was all of us, and that was kind of how all of our lines kind of got created.
our dance teacher, Bree Jansen, she shared it on Facebook and Twitter and all over social media just because she wanted like us to have the opportunity to get it out there. And then it just started blowing up out of nowhere. Like, what is happening? And then Hamilton retweeted it. Lin-Manuel Miranda like noticed it, and I was like, what is happening?
The most craziest thing was we got a call saying they wanted us to be on Good Morning America. After like it was blowing up, you think we were like, really us? Like on Good Morning America? Like it was just so crazy.
Do you all think Lin-Manuel Miranda has actually heard your song?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
You don't think he's heard it?
Remember the women. Remember the
Having a place to perform in Lompoc would mean really bringing our community together, everyone, because everybody loves watching shows and dances. Yeah, I think it would really bring our community together, and especially through times like these, and being able to come and watch a show for like the first time, I feel like it would really be amazing, and it would really have us interact and become like, as one, like a community.
Martha, I'm George Washington's wife. Abby, I'm John Adams' wife. Eliza, I'm Alexander's wife. We clean around the house, we make our husbands proud. Stop talking! It's our turn now. Martha! I'm the first lady. People think I'm shady. Learned to read and write, and at the time, that's crazy. At the front of the war, that's where I stood. Supplying her soldiers with care and goods. Not to everyone is Lady Washington, but my name is Martha, and it's always been. Abby, I'm the second lady. I oppose slavery, reminded my husband to remember the ladies. Men get weaker when women get smarter. Fighting for our rights, so we have to work harder. Education is important, equal rights too. Us women have a voice, you agree, don't you? Hey! I'm not only just his wife, I am living my best life. I wasn't made to be kept quiet. Hey, I'll rise and pride in my defiance. Whoa! And my achievements shouldn't lie. Hey, behind the shadow of a god, I won't let them suppress me again. So listen when we say, remember the women, Eliza. I'm a rich lady, made it past my 80s, devoted my life building orphanages for the babies. Funds for my hubby, in return he got the credit. The monument still stands, I'm the one who made it happen. Caught up in the fame, decided to play games. Cheater! I mean, no one would even remember your name. That's a little bit too far, don't you think? I'm not only just his wife, I am living my best life. I wasn't made to be kept quiet. I rise from pride and my defiance. Whoa, and my achievement shouldn't lie. Behind the shadow of a god, I won't let them suppress me again. So listen when we say, remember the women. Remember the women. Remember the women.
Oh, they are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I look at them on that stage, and that's something they couldn't have done just a couple of years ago. It was a pigeon aviary, and on that stage, it was about, say that thick with little droppings and presents that the pigeons have left. It was toxic. There was mold, there was mildew, there was asbestos. All of it is gone. We have raised $300,000 to date, which is pretty good for a town like Lompoc. And we've done a lot with that. We've prevented all the leaks. People were able to perform on that stage, and that is the actual Lompoc stage, and you'll be seeing people on it all night. It's thrilling to me from what it was and what it is now, but that's only the first step. We know that we are not going to open the theater with the money we get tonight. And so donate, because we're going to fix a roof that we need to fix. And that's the main fundraising goal this year, is to permanently put a roof on the office building of the theater. We have tenants in there for the first time in 30 years. It's a big, big thing. And this roof will be the first permanent addition that will be part of the restoration that we will complete. So any penny that you give us tonight goes directly to that. The money is not going to remediate anything. It's going to actually build the theater. And we know that you're going to donate, but that's the only thing that I need from you tonight. I need you to tell me who you know, because all of you know someone who has the means, someone who is looking to leave a legacy, to make their mark, to make a difference. They might be a relative. You might be 1 degree of separation from them, or you, in fact, may be watching me right now. And I'm talking to you, Santa Barbara, and you, Montecito, and you, Santa Ynez, or wherever you are in the country. There is not one donation you can make that will have more of an impact, that will leave more of a legacy, that will do more good to more people who need and deserve it, that will educate children, and that will prop up an ailing economy. This project does it all. And so please get in touch. We're here to make it happen. Our first guest is a guy I know a little bit. I think we might have went to high school together. In fact, we went to grade school together. He's a Lompoc resident for quite a long time. And his name is Jeffrey Combs. He is that guy, the Reanimator. He has become the Vincent Price of the new millennium. I used to call him the Nick Adams of the new millennium, but no, he does a one-man Edgar Allan Poe show. He's now the Vincent Price of the new millennium. He is an icon to horror fans and also science fiction fans. This is the Andorian from Star Trek Enterprise. Don't remember the guy's name. It's some strange Star Trek name. There's Wei Yun. He took over Deep Space Nine. And he also played a Ferengi in that episode or that series. And there he is. And also he played the only actor in Star Trek history that actually has played 3 roles in the same show. That's from The Frighteners right there. And yeah, a great movie. Peter Jackson directed just before he did Lord of the Rings. And then Michelle, yeah, that other photo. Yeah, I think that's Jeff on any given weeknight in his living room. But anyway, you know him, you love him. Please enjoy this interview with Jeff Combs. And we're delighted to have Jeff Combs.
Hi, everybody. How are we?
Perhaps
now I can see you. Good.
Yeah. Perhaps you hadn't heard the COVID rules are that when you're by yourself, you don't really have to wear a mask. It's just a little tip from Dr. Fauci.
What about like on videos?
No, videos are even safer, much safer.
You are my oldest and best friend.
And to think that I thought this was a good idea to have me interview you, that seemed like a good idea.
But the point is it's almost a year since we've been going through this, and now you tell me that I don't have to wear this?
Take off the damn mask. We have lots to talk about in little time.
Fine. This is a little unnerving for me because it's about the first time this has ever happened for me.
Oy, oy, oy.
And it's not a comfortable thing for me. It's almost like stripping for you, and I don't want to do that. But anyway, okay. Whew!
There you
go. I'm
free
at last. Free at last.
Maybe wear a mask. Okay, maybe that was the No, you and I both grew up going to movies in that theater. We'll hear later on tonight my favorite moments, but tell me, what is your favorite moment about the Lompoc Theater?
The Lompoc Theater was a magical place for me. I can't tell you how many matinees I went to there. I would walk there, and some of those movies were not the greatest, and some were absolute masterpieces. You never knew what you were going to get, but what a destination, and what a seed was planted for me, that's for sure.
And they were a double feature.
Double features with a cartoon, with a serial. I distinctly remember watching Rocket Man or something like Rocket Man, this dude that flew, he had a helmet on and he could fly. And I could never figure out how they did that. It was even better than Superman. And I remember Hard Day's Night.
Wow.
Hard Day's Night, I saw it. I didn't hear it because all of the girls were screaming so loudly. I can't tell you how many movies I saw. You know, to hearken to my the horror movies that I've done, was The Brain That Wouldn't Die. And at the end of that movie, there is a woman and her head is sticking up out of a table. Cheesy, it's very cheesy.
I remember.
But her head is sticking up out of a table as if her head has been severed. And the camera is a slow pan towards her. And she's saying, kill me, kill me, kill me. And
that would have been a movie that definitely you would have done.
Later on, you know, I might have been in that movie. But I'm telling you, it made a deep impression on me. I remember walking home going, that is the most frightening image idea. I don't want to have to deal with that.
What would restoring the Lompoc Theater mean to you?
I think of the young people that might go there, and that spark that prompted you and prompted me to pursue an unlikely path in life, that maybe they would feel the desire to pursue something like that as well. It means so much to me, that theater. It is at the center of my memories of Lompoc. It was a destination that I went to time and time again for escape, for inspiration and comfort and camaraderie. It's where I met my friends to watch a movie. Lompoc is not complete until that theater is brought back to its full glory.
Well, obviously, I agree. You coming on tonight is a big thing for us. Thank you for participating.
And I want to say, Mark, that I am so proud of you for picking up the mantle for reviving the Lompoc Theater. I can't think of anybody better to.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of us, and thank you for that. But it's great to have had you on, and thank you for coming.
Jeff is awesome. I feel bad that we had to cut him off there at the end.
Well, that's what the VIP tickets are for. There's another 20 minutes of him and I telling war stories. And if you went to Lompoc High School at a certain time, you might particularly enjoy it. But yeah, $20. You can watch outtakes with Troy and with Jeff and with Rick Karn coming up. That's worth the money just by itself. Forget the auction.
Yes. And I appreciate Jeff's the links he went to be so safe and all, but I think somebody needs to tell him that he doesn't need to go through all that.
Yeah, you'd think after all these years I'd know that he was going to do a bit, but he caught me by surprise, maybe for the first time.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was a lot of fun. I just hope, I wish you would have made him cry. That would have made me feel better, at the end. He had the tears. I think that would have really, really helped. So.
Yeah.
Well, we have another local performance, if it's okay to introduce them. So next up, we have Angie and the Nightmares. So Angelina Lapointe. So let me just remember here the other people. Oh, my paper's all over. Angelina Lapointe, she's going to be on vocals and bass. Aaron France on guitar, and Sean Campbell on drums. And I just have to say, Angelina Lapointe is just a multi-talented artist. Not only is she a musician, a singer, a songwriter, she is also a fine artist. She went to school, got a degree in book art, and she does relief printing. So if you are a Lompoc local, you're probably very familiar with her calendars that she does. Those take so much work, and I just so admire her talent and her creativity. So next up is Angie and the Nightmares.
I'm Angelina Lapointe from Angie and the Nightmares, and we're going to play Blue Collar Boys. Being able to communicate stories about my life and things that I go through in a way that like refers back to American musical traditions, but has a little bit of an edginess to it, a little bit of a kind of a nod to feminism or sarcasm is always kind of like where my songwriting lives. This song is a little bit of a joke about that and a reversal of power in the situation. So I try to make it funny and be cute about it, but it's also a little bit of a taking back the power. I grew up in a really musical family. It was always a big part of my household and just sort of how people hung out and socialized, but also were creative together. And so I've been singing with my dad for as long as I can remember, but I started a band in high school and we actually got to play in this theater before it shut down. I got to see some plays here when I was a teenager, some dance troupes that came through and performed. I love the sound in here. It's just spectacular, you know, and having a space that's available for all ages shows, to have it be just a part of daily life, to not have to leave town to go see a show, to just have it be something that we're allowed to do here would be really special, I think.
I just love her. I love her. And as a blue collar boy, son of a blue collar garbage man who ran the town dump, the landfill in Lompoc, blue collar boys have things they can add to the world of art and entertainment. And there are a lot of blue collar boys and girls in Lompoc right now that do not have the same opportunity that I have because they don't have the theater to be inspired that I was in. And you'll hear about that later, the Lompoc Theater. They don't have the after school programs because the California school system isn't what it was when I was growing up, where you had money for the arts and you had field trips and all sorts of ways you could be enriched and enlivened. And restoring the theater means more to the kids than anything else. And that is the main reason why I have gotten involved in this. And there's going to be a time when Angie will be on stage one night and then Melissa Etheridge will be on stage the next night. She's absolutely wonderful. And I'd like to introduce to you now another board member. Her name is Ann Ramsey.
Hi, I'm Ann Ramsey, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Lompoc Theater Project. Now, having lived in Lompoc here for over 16 years and being a very active participant of the Lompoc Civic Theater, I can express with personal passion the importance of restoring this beautiful theater. Because for all performers, be they actors, singers, musicians, or dancers, the stage is our palette, our home, our place to share our gifts of creativity with the community and with the entire Central Coast. That is why I'm asking you, on behalf of the entire creative community and on behalf of the audiences that come to enjoy our offerings, to support this historic restoration of the beautiful downtown Lompoc Theater in any way you can, with as much as you can. The creative future of Lompoc will shine brighter than ever before if we can give the arts a home in which to perform. I'd like to share a few of the many artistic organizations that grace our valley. Lompoc Civic Theater was established in 1973 and has been serving the community of Lompoc and beyond with live theater, from comedies to dramas to musicals to original works. On average, 5 productions a year have been produced, with equal opportunity for the entire Lompoc community to be involved. The Lompoc Valley Master Chorale is in its 29th year as a regular part of the fine arts scene in the Lompoc Valley. The purpose of the chorale is to encourage the arts and music in our community, to inspire audiences of all ages by performing the finest choral music, and to engage the singers of tomorrow. The Lompoc Pops, which is celebrating its 25th season, is comprised of professional musicians from all over the South Coast. They provide 4 concerts a year with a multitude of various themes, something for every ear to enjoy. The Lompoc Concert Association, formed in 1948, fosters appreciation of the musical arts by bringing national and international performers to Lompoc through an annual series of affordable concerts and by providing educational outreach. Garcia Dance Studio has been in Lompoc for almost 25 years. The studio has over 200 students. In fact, Spirit of Fiesta 2020, Elena Velasco, is a student with Garcia Dance Studio. Having the theater restored will bring the youth of our community an outlet in which to perform and grow. The Classical School of Ballet, the Don Lon Dance Studio, the various folklorical groups that thrive here in Lompoc will all have a theater, a stage, a palette to perform their magic upon. And this community of Lompoc Valley and beyond will be enriched beyond measure. So please, join the Lompoc Theater Project's vision of a restored downtown fine arts theater for all the arts, all of the people, all year around. Thank you.
And she's absolutely right. It will be the community's theater. And there's also the high schools will be able to use the stage whenever there's a big event that they want to do. There's a great dance troupe in Lompoc High School, great band in Cabrillo High School. They'll be able to perform on the stage.
Yep.
Because one thing that these kids will find out is that when they actually experience what it's like to be on a professional stage with the lights and the sound, just like a major league ball player getting to a stadium for the first time, it elevates your game. You get better.
So
And they're gonna be on stage.
being behind a laptop isn't the same thing? You know,
No, not really.
I thought
Not
this was
really.
like my stage.
I know. Well, it has been for some time, but guess what? That will end hopefully very, very soon. I'm listening to the sound of these really great acts that kind of being Zoomified, and I just can't wait for live performances again.
Yes.
But that will happen. That will happen.
Well, I have another guest to introduce, but I do want to mention where we are on our thermometer here real quick. We've already
Please
had a
do.
lot of donations. We're already at 14 and a half, which is amazing. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I have another board member that I'd love to introduce, Jason Villalobos. He recently joined the board, and he is another Lompoc native. And this virtual event was in part kind of both of our brainchilds. We kind of both had a very similar idea. And so I'll let him tell you a little bit more about how the arts saved him and why that's so important. So thank you, Jason.
So I moved back to Lompoc after living in LA and San Francisco the last 15 years. And I drive past the Lompoc Theater every day. And every day I just dreamt of how glorious it would be if we reopened this to serve not only our student population, but to get in traveling artists, concert, theater productions, showings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, something that could rally our community and get people excited to be in Lompoc. You know, I grew up in Lompoc in the early 80s. My father was a Lompoc police officer. My mother was a checkout person at Albertsons for 20 years. My father grew up in an agricultural field, the 13th of 14 children. We have deep roots in Lompoc, deep, meaningful roots. And, you know, when I was a kid growing up, the son of a police officer, a Mexican that didn't speak Spanish, a kid that was terrible at athletics and wasn't especially confident, I really struggled with finding my place in the world. And it wasn't until I was about 16 years old and enrolled in a high school theater class that I finally found my tribe and realized that there was a place in the world for me. You know, theater literally changed my life in a way that was so powerful that I really saw myself. These were the first friends that I really had made my entire life, friends that I continued to have. And so when I think about the powerful opportunities that this revitalized community theater can afford our kids, I'm just so passionate about it. You know, Lompoc is not a place to be written off. We have a vibrant, important, and vital community to the Central Coast. So when I think of kids and opportunities and the opportunities that this theater can afford them to express themselves, to sing, to dance, to gather around with shows, to stage dive, to fall in love, to hear an artist they may follow for the rest of their lives. I just think the sky is the limit. Our kids deserve this. This community deserves this, and we're ready for it.
What he said. Okay. It's now, and it's happening. There's a lot of stereotypes, and one of them is our next guest needs no introduction. Well, in this case, that's absolutely true, because you all have been welcoming him into your living rooms from the moment you were born in some situations. He was the host of Hollywood Squares, the host of Dancing with the Stars, the host of America's Funniest Home Videos. You know him, you love him, the greatest MC who ever lived. Please welcome the one and only Mr. Tom Bergeron.
Oh, that was lovely. That was a lovely. Oh, let me get the glasses off so you don't have to keep looking at the ring light.
I don't know. It's kind of a good effect.
Well, thank you. I want to share just a little anecdote before we even do anything that we rehearsed yesterday. I want everybody to know that Mark
Wait, this is live.
was
This is
my
live.
first. I know, and live is my milieu. Mark was my first movie star, and you never forget your first. 1983, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I had just finished a stint on a radio station there. I was playing Johnny Casino in a production of Grease, directed by the star of Porky's, Mark Harrier, my first movie star.
There you are. Well, you always remember your first, I think.
That's right. That's what I said. Yeah.
Tom, I'm a little pissed. Why didn't you tell me how hard this was? I've only been doing this for about 40 minutes. You do it and it seems just so easy, just hosting something. What's your secret?
IPAs.
Okay. All right. You have a similar experience in your life that we have here at the Lompoc Theater.
Yeah.
There was a movie theater that you remember growing up as a kid?
Yeah, and actually, I have some connective tissue with Jeff Combs as well. Not only did I play 2 different roles in Star Trek Enterprise over its 4 years, but the first movie I saw at 9 years old at the Paramount Theater in my hometown of Haverhill, Massachusetts, was A Hard Day's Night in 1964. Now, the reason that the Paramount Theater plays an important part, I think, in tonight's story is this is a case of a wonderful multi-purpose theater, had cinema, had stage shows, and it succumbed to urban renewal. It was torn down. And in its place, when I go back home and visit my hometown, is a really, can I swear on this?
Within reason.
All right, I'll adapt it. A really crappy looking strip mall. So, you know, I would hope that the Lompoc Theater prospers where the Paramount Theater didn't. And what was great about that particular screening of It's a Hard Day's Night, because all of my buddies went, we're all like dropped off by our parents, we're like 9 years old and such. We're enjoying the movie. And in the balcony was a woman that we kids called Crazy Josephine. And Crazy Josephine, while you're enjoying the movie, would bean goobers and raisinets off the back of your head. She would just sit up there and throw candy, which, you know, by the time it bounced and hit the 5-second rule, you could still eat it, but you don't know.
No.
You really don't know.
No. Well, Tom, why don't you introduce our next guest, because you're going to be a lot better than I am.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to see what you're about to see, all of you watching yesterday, and Daniel Roy has an amazing story, and he's an amazing talent, and he manages to merge his amazing story into amazing talent. So watch Daniel Roy and his autobiographical deck of cards.
My name's Daniel Roy, and I'm a professional sleight of hand magician. Now, however interesting it's been to adapt to the landscape of virtual theater over this last year, I think we can all agree that there's nothing like live performance. Now, live theater is so important, partly for its value as wonderful and positive entertainment, but also because it allows us to share stories that matter to us and stories that matter to others, and it allows us to authentically express ourselves. Now, for people who have a story to share, what they need is a place to share it, and that is where community theater comes into play. So please give what you can to the Lompoc Theater Project, because when you give to community theater, you are literally giving people a voice. And this is what I try to do with magic. I try to tell stories that matter to me and that might one day inspire others. And so I would like to share a story with you. Today I'm going to use this deck of cards to tell you a little bit more about my rather unique family structure. So let's get started. I have 2 moms and also 2 dads. They're not divorced and I'm not adopted. So my 2 dads are gay and my 2 moms are lesbian, and the 2 couples had been friends for many years and then decided to have and co-parent a kid, me. Now the 2 couples live about 10 minutes apart, and so growing up I would actually alternate houses every night, by choice. So what is it like growing up with 4 parents? Well, holidays are great because I would get 2 times as many presents. But if I ever got in trouble, it was not so great because I would have 4 different people to answer to. First, I'd have to apologize to my 2 moms, and then I'd have to apologize to my 2 dads. And if one of the parents happened to be traveling, well, then I'd have to have the same conversation 3 different times. And if 2 of them happened to be traveling, well, then I would have to apologize to all 4 of them individually. Not so fun. Now, I mentioned that I would alternate houses every night, and there are 7 nights in a week, so I would spend 4 nights a week with my mom's and 3 nights a week with my dad's. And when I was 6 or 7 years old, they asked if I would rather just spend 7 nights at one house and then 7 nights at the other house. But I said no way, because I'd been alternating houses since I was 3 months old. I was way too used to it. Now, my parents have a rather sick sense of humor. They like to joke that because my 4 parents are gay and lesbian, and yet I turned out straight, get it, straight, that whatever this gay agenda is, it clearly failed. Now, I'm lucky to rarely have received any pushback against my family, although one time when I was about 10 years old, I was at summer camp, and I was explaining my family structure to my roommate, and he asked if my parents made out in front of me all the time. This comes from the stereotype that gay people are overly sexual. In response, I just asked him if his 2 straight parents made out in front of him all the time. I mean, of course not, right? So how did my family come into being? Well, my parents would have the same conversation every year for about 10 years of whether or not they should have a kid. And while 2 of the parents were rather tentative, the other 2 were quite tenacious. And when my biological mom was 39 years old, she said, look, it's now or never. So when I was born in 96, I actually had 9 grandparents. You'd think it would be 8 because of the 4 parents, but actually one of the grandparents had remarried, so it was 9. And when gay marriage was legalized, I had the distinct privilege of being the ring bearer for my 2 moms, and then being the ring bearer for my 2 dads. They had back-to-back weddings on the same day. And that is the story of how my 4 parents came together to form a family that we call the 5 of us. Now, I showed this trick to my parents because, of course, I wanted their feedback, and they liked it. They did have one criticism, though. They didn't like how the backs of the cards were all the same color. They thought I should use some cards that were a little bit more fabulous in nature.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that doesn't suck. I know you do a
No,
lot
it
of things.
doesn't.
Do you do magic?
No, I once was the only stand-up comic at the Magic Townhouse in New York, and my talent was making the audience disappear. So no, I don't.
Ba-dum-bum. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I see a magic act, and I think of some of the programming we're going to have at the theater, and one of the things is like a town talent show where everybody shows up and goes against each other to see who wins all the glory and the gold. And we're going to call that the Lompoc Talent Throwdown. And you're here.
All right, I love it.
And I know you do impressions. I know you do other things. So I think it's only fitting that you and I, since the theater's not open yet, you and I do the first ever Lompoc Talent Throwdown.
Because you never forget your first.
So, all right, here are the categories. Impressions.
All right.
I'm giving you a head start because I know
Okay.
you do some. I know you do some impressions. Number 2,
Yeah, I do.
mime, because there's nothing
Okay.
more exciting in the world than virtual mime. And
Yeah, for
third,
sure.
we're going to do something musical, singing, dancing, musical instruments, where I may catch up with you.
Okay.
All right. So, are you game? Are you
Okay.
ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's do the first category, which is impressions. You lead off. I'm not very good at this, but okay.
All right. My first impression is my friend from my years hosting Hollywood Squares, Gilbert Gottfried. I have to get into character.
Hello, I'm Gilbert Gottfried. The Lompoc Theater is an important institution, and when I get out of COVID protocols, I want to bring my stand-up show there. So for God's sake, contribute.
Okay, I can see that I'm in a lot of trouble. As I said, I'm not really good at impersonations, but I do let's see the beer. I'm envying that so much. I do a bit of a walk.
And by the way, I got it because it's the title of a Charlie Chaplin movie, and apparently it's the best. You don't want to drink the Great Dictator IPA.
Okay, here's my walk, and thank you for delaying it as much as you did. Okay.
That's okay.
I got a fever for some cowbell.
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad,
No.
Mark.
No,
Yeah,
not that
it's
good.
Not bad.
but,
I'd
you
say
know, Titus Welliver.
we're pretty
Titus
even.
Welliver does a really good one.
He does.
Yeah.
I ran into him at a Starbucks in Greenwich, Connecticut. How about that for 6 degrees of separation, huh?
All right, next one.
You have nothing
Next,
to say about it.
No, I
All
have
right.
nothing to say.
Now this. Understandably, this one is a bit odd. This is Martin Short doing Katharine Hepburn. All right. Norman, you remember the old town road, you old fool. You've been down it 1,000 times. Look, the loons have come to say goodbye.
Oh man. Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, I guess you brought out your Katharine Hepburn. I guess I need to do Henry Fonda. I apologize to everyone in advance for this, especially my poor sons who have endured me waking them up for decades with this really bad impersonation of Henry Fonda. And here we go.
Okay.
Wake it and shake it. We've got lumber to cut and contracts to keep.
You sure that wasn't Walter Brennan?
It could have been anybody. I told you. Okay, everybody at home, you have a chat thing. You vote on each category. I think I know I'm already behind. Okay, the next contest and the Lompoc Talent Throwdown is virtual mime. Virtual mime. I'll go first.
All right.
I will do.
All right, you go first.
I will do prison bars. Prison bars. Get a little warm up going.
That's good right there. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna do a little mime little thing. Okay, here we go. Prison bars.
Oh, wow. Jeez. It's like watching the Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Scene. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Prison
All
bars.
right. So, all right.
Prison
We're
bars.
having a mime off. All right. This one is a person brushing their teeth, although some people have thought it looks like something else. I'll leave you to make your own value judgments. It's a person brushing their teeth. And if you contribute to the Lompoc Theater, I'll floss.
I don't think I could have watched that much longer. Okay, so two categories down, one to go. Musical ability, musical talent. So what do you have to offer here?
Well, I happen to be one of the contestants in season 3 of The Masked Singer, and I was a singing taco. So you'll understand if I can't really do it without, this is not a product endorsement. It's just, I need this to sing. All right, so ready? This is the first song, a brief portion of the first song I sang on The Masked Singer. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. In other words, eat a taco.
Okay, I'm going against a masked singer. Good God. Oh well, let's try this.
Oh my God.
This will be the first time I've done this
thank you,
sober.
friend.
Yeah, this will be the first time
Oh,
I've done
God.
this sober
Wait a
in
minute,
about
before-
45 years.
Let me make sure I'm not.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, gotta get it.
Thank you, friends. The Bubble Machine, Marvin Gaye and the Dancers. Wouldn't you? That'd be great if
In-
Marvin Gaye had been on the Lawrence Welk Show. But anyway,
Yeah.
well, that was wonderful. That
In
was
my
wonderful.
defense, I did not choose to play the accordion. I was 11 years old. There was a knock on my front door. My mom and I answered it. There's a guy standing there and he said, "Hey, young man, I have a free music lessons for you. Would you like to play the guitar or the accordion?" And I went, "Gee," and my mother said, "Accordion!" And I wound up having to play the accordion. And one last accordion
Wow.
story.
All I got.
No, go.
Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay, picture
Really,
this.
all I got. Yeah.
Isn't
gonna
Zoom
stop talking
wonderful? Isn't Zoom wonderful? God, and it was okay. Picture this: 12-year-old me, not much shorter than I am right now, playing the accordion to entertain the inmates at the Lompoc Federal Correctional Institution. I played accordion, something like what you just heard, to prisoners. I only did it once. Because
That's where
I only did it once because apparently there's a clause in the Constitution that says something about cruel and unusual punishment. So,
and it's also where the phrase "don't drop the accordion" came into popular usage.
a phrase that I don't recall, but there you go. All right. So, Michelle, did you tally up any votes? Who won the first annual Lompoc Talent Throwdown?
I think people are pretty torn about this. It seems to be a little all over the place. Tom, you were winning for sure until Mark busted out his accordion, and then some people are going to give us money if you don't ever play your accordion again. So I'm super torn. I don't know.
Okay, then we're gonna call the first throwdown a tie. And you and I are going to go at it again when the theater is open, and we'll be on stage and we'll have a talent throwdown.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Very fair.
Okay. All right, Tom. Thank you for coming on and enlivening my sad little life.
My pleasure, buddy. My pleasure.
Okay. Anything you want to say before you leave?
Yeah, I wore this green shirt because I wanted to employ subliminal seduction. Green is the color of money. Money is how the Lompoc Theater is reborn. You are the vehicle to make that happen.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom. Really appreciate you coming on tonight.
You bet. My pleasure.
Okay. All right. Tom Bergeron, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I'm exhausted. Bring it on, Michelle. What's next?
All right, Mark. So I'm going to let Jason introduce our next guest, but people have been asking for updates on our thermometer. So I just want to throw it back to that real quick. So this is where we are. We still have a ways to go, but yeah, I don't think you want to turn down your phone and watch anything else. So I get it. You're going to be, emptying your credit cards after the show. I'm expecting that. So we'll definitely get there. You can also follow along on our thermometer on our website. So we have the thermometer on there in case we don't get to it quick enough. I just want to make sure people know that.
And we have many thousands of dollars we haven't even put in yet from the silent auction. So we're getting good. Okay. Take it away.
All right. So I'm going to let Jason introduce our next guest, and here we go.
I can't tell you how honored and thrilled we are to have this special lady supporting the Lompoc Theater Project. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the iconic and legendary Rona Barrett.
I'm Rona Barrett, and some of you may know me today as an advocate for seniors in need through the efforts of the Rona Barrett Foundation. However, prior to that work, I've spent many decades covering the world of entertainment for TV shows like Good Morning America and The Today Show, and for a number of magazines that bore my name. I saw firsthand the tremendous value of the performing arts and their impact not only around the world, but locally as well. That's why the Lompoc Theater Project is so important. This region needs a dedicated home for the arts and entertainment. In doing so, you'll be a part of the community's true labor of love that will have significant cultural, educational, economic, and architectural impacts. I do hope you'll join me and the others in this event in supporting the Lompoc Theater Project. It's a coming attraction that you don't want to miss. Until next time, keep thinking the good thoughts, and don't forget to pass the popcorn.
She is such a lovely lady.
She is, and she is doing really amazing work in the San Ynez Valley. She is an advocate for seniors, and we are honored to have her supporting us as well. It's a really wonderful thing. So thank you, Ms. Barrett.
Yes. So next, I want to introduce our next, I guess, co-host, MC, so to speak. So let me bring him in. So I'd like to introduce my Jeremy Ball. He is also known as the Lompoc City Council member for District 4. He is also my husband, who has been helping me throughout this process to make sure I don't fall apart. And he's been recording lots of things. But the problem with Jeremy is he's always super fuzzy on history and facts.
Hey, wait a second. Slow down here. This is completely inappropriate. Everyone knows that I just have a lot to learn. Okay, so be kind with me. I thought you were on my side. I thought you were on my team. Okay, let's go forward.
Yeah, I expect excellence. So that's the difference. Is I expect more, and when you achieve a certain level, I expect more after that. So that's just the way things work. But because you are the city council member for District 4 and the theater happens to fall in District 4, I think you need to brush up on a few facts about the theater. So I am going to school you, so to speak, and let's see how you do. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
I think I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So first question, who built the Lompoc Theater in 1927? And it's multiple choice because, I'm helping you out because I love you.
Okay.
Is it A, the Knights of Templar, B, the Knights of Pythias, C, Earl Calvert, or D, Cecil B. DeMille?
I'm going to go with the Knights of Pythias.
Yes. Good job. Very, very good job. Excellent.
I knew it. Ugh.
Okay,
Great.
now I
Okay,
have a,
1 for 1. 1 for 1.
I have a true or false for you next. True or false? The Knights of Pythias ran the theater well into the 1950s.
With a name like Pythias, that sounds so magical. I'm going to say true.
No. It was Walter Calvert who was the proprietor of the theater. And I just loved this is a photo we got from the Historical Society. This is dating back to 1927. And this was one of my favorite lines that they said that he wrote in an open letter. People of the Lompoc Valley, this theater is yours. And I think that's just so important to just remember about this place. This is our theater. So, just wanted to point that out. Are you ready for the next question?
I think so.
All right.
I think so. I've learned so much. By the way, I just want to say real quickly, because I've been crying and laughing and back and forth. This has been such an amazing. I'm so emotional because well, we were really nervous about this. But the one thing I know, we're going to bring a lot of exposure to the theater and to everything else. But one small thing I'm so excited about is people learning to pronounce the word Lompoc.
Oh, yes.
Everyone has done such a great job at Lompoc. It's so simple. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm so excited because Lompoc, no more Lompocs. Finally, Lompoc. Anyway, go ahead.
It's really the little things for you, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Okay. I'm going to skip my next question because you were taking way too long.
Sorry. I didn't want to fail.
It's okay. I really want to show off because I don't think you would get this anyways. The Lompoc Theater, this is what it looked like in 1933. And you see that marquee there, right? Do you see that, Jeremy?
I do. That's amazing.
What do you think happened in 1954? I'm going to show you a picture. Do you think you can guess?
Hashtag upgrades.
Yes.
Looks like there was an update.
There was. Good job. You are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You noticed the details.
Am I worthy of staying married to you? I think that's the ultimate question.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll have to talk at the end of this. Okay. All right, next question. The Lompoc Theater Project was established in 2012, and they fought for almost 4 years to get the keys, which they received in 2016. Since then, the group has A, paid off the back taxes that were owed on the building, B, stabilized the marquee, C, evicted the avian tenants, cleaned up the inside, and facilitated asbestos abatement, or D, all the above and more.
You know, I have insider knowledge. I must be transparent here, but I'm going to go with D, all of the above.
Yes, that's very, very true. I just want to show you.
I knew it.
You are doing great. You are doing really. I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to have you on here. I just want to show you guys a few before and after pictures. This is these are your pictures, by the way. You're a pretty good photographer, and I'm really glad to have you around for that. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. You do a pretty good job. All right, so this is back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? That was, see all the, it's still pretty kind of cool. You kind of made it look pretty dramatic. But there was definitely, that's not bubblegum. This is not the bubblegum alley from San Luis Obispo. This is pigeon.
This is the same stage that the local performers performed on.
So don't say that. Don't say that. Let's move on.
I'm just saying, if they need
to
see it before and after, this is great.
Yeah. So, and then this is also prior. But I just want to show, that's all plaster art that's on the floor. Since then, this is 2019. This is how spick and span and clean it is. I just wish that they could come to our house and make that kind of a difference. Look at that. Isn't that nice? They've done so much work. So anyways, I'm very impressed. I don't know if I have any more questions for you.
Well, I'm just impressed, and that reminds me. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one more question. Sorry. I'm sorry to yell at you like that. I know I yell at you a lot, and I apologize.
That's
all right.
That's okay.
Let's see if you get this, because you're doing a pretty good job. I'm impressed. When the theater is restored, The space will be used for A, movies and live theatrical performances, B, opera, symphonies, and live concerts, C, lectures and award ceremonies, or D, all of the above?
Well, knowing the way you think and the entire board at the Lompoc Theater Project thinks, I think it's D. I think it's all the above.
Yes, yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Oh, you made this so easy for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I still have a lot to learn.
You do.
I learned a lot.
I have,
thank you.
There's an email, if you can check that. I've got a long list that you can work on while I'm doing this. So
I'm gonna go work on that now.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So, yeah, that's all I've got, Mark. We want to introduce our next guest.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He is a wonderful, talented man. He is, in fact, a Broadway star.
He is.
He has done so many roles on Broadway. You know you're a star if you actually created one original role in your career on Broadway. He's done three roles he created, the most famous being his role of the policeman in Urinetown. Please welcome Broadway sensation, and you'll see why now with his voice, Mr. Jeff McCarthy.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, then my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
Wow. Beautiful song, beautiful rendition. Santa Maria High School boy, Mr. Jeff McCarthy. And also want to give a shout out to Paul Hobbs, Santa Maria High School native and boy, who did the accompaniment and played that beautiful rendition. A lot of people have been saying to me in the past, because I've been doing this for a little while, they're saying, Mark, this is taking a long time. Why isn't it open yet? Maybe The Impossible Dream should be your theme song. Well, I'm going to tell you, according to the League of Historical Theaters, just how long it takes to restore an historical theater. This long. Well, seems like infinity. It's actually 8 years. 8 years. Meaning from 8 years from when you first start the restoration until you break ground. So we didn't own the theater till 5 years ago. So by that metric, we have another 3 years to break the ground. So in many ways, we are exactly on schedule. So it's not an impossible dream. It's happening every single day. But I'd like to bring Jeremy back to talk about some of the economic impact. Being a city councilman, I think he has a stake in this. This theater is in your district, which is a kind of an exciting thing. And,
yes, sir. Absolutely.
Tell me what you know might happen when this theater opens, how it's going to impact the town.
Well, honestly, I can only imagine. I've been, whether it's the theater, the general idea of the magic of the heartbeat of downtown, I've been trying to convince people around me that if we could only understand that we live on Highway 1, that we live on the PCH, that we're only 2.5 hours from LA, that if we could only create a reason and multiple reasons for people that travel through. A lot of people leave LA, they hit the Highway 1, and their first stop is Pismo Beach, and their second stop is Hearst Castle. Their first stop should be Lompoc, California, because we have so many great things going for us. I love your hat, by the way. So for me, it's just anything that we can do to make people pause and slow down and stop here in Lompoc, or come here for a specific reason, i.e. the arts or a performance, that is transformational for our community, if not our downtown. So tell me more.
Yes. Well, yes, it is true. And I have actually been around the state and even out of the state. And I've seen this happen throughout the country, and in particular in California, in Merced, in Visalia, in Fresno, in the Tucson, Arizona. Merced in particular comes to mind because they have a demographic similar to Lompoc. In fact, their per capita income is almost $9,000 a year less than us. And we have the wine industry, and we have Santa Barbara and San Luis and San Ynez. We have a lot of advantages they don't have. And yet they banded together and they restored their historic theater.
Wow.
It cost them $13 million, but this was many, many years ago. And now with the COVID really blowing up prices, who knows what it would cost today? At least $20 million. But they were able to do it, and it transformed their downtown. They had a gang problem worse than any place in the Central Coast. And they used to joke that you could fire a cannon off at one end of Main Street at night and never hit anybody at the other end. Well, once the theater opened, you couldn't find a parking place for a mile when the theater was open and doing productions. You couldn't find a parking place a mile within the theater. Same thing happened in Tucson, Arizona. They had a dilapidated old theater, sort of looked like the one that Tom Bergeron was talking about. It was called the Fox. It's called the Fox, Tucson. And downtown Tucson was such a dangerous place at the time that the University of Arizona, that is in Tucson, would not let their students go down there on the weekends. Said it was too dangerous. They restored the theater, and a year later, the city of Tucson and the university banded together and made a tram that went from the university to downtown and back on weekends. A 360-degree turnaround.
That's amazing.
And it had a huge economic impact. That will happen in Lompoc. Like I said, a minimum of $4 million a year. So
let's flush that idea out a little bit, because I want people to really wrap their heads around this, because a lot of times they just look at a cost associated with a theater, but they don't necessarily think of the connective, supplemental, complementary things that it brings to the community. So I just want to, let's talk a little bit about what those impacts might be. So for me, it's not just a theater performance, but look, somebody coming into town or a local has to go and have a meal right before the performance. If they're from out of town, perhaps they need to stay overnight here because they came to see such a great act here on Highway 1 here in Lompoc. So let's talk about those supplemental and those complementary impacts that the theater could bring to the downtown and the whole community.
Well, you just did a pretty good job of it, because that's exactly what happens. The people that are coming here now in the Central Coast from Los Angeles and San Francisco, they're coming and they're, seeing something in Santa Barbara, they're seeing something in San Ynez or Santa Maria, and then they might spend the night and then they're on or back to their houses. Sure. This kind of a destination in Lompoc, on top of the wine industry already here, means that instead of coming on a Saturday and going home on a Sunday, they're going to come on a Friday. They're going to see a show. They're going to get up. They're going to have breakfast. They're going to do all the things I mentioned earlier. And then they'll go to Santa Barbara. They'll go into wine country in San Ynez, and they'll spend the whole weekend. It's going to benefit the entire county.
Absolutely. And the one other thing I wanted to throw out there is Lompoc, because it's a middle class, it's a poorer town here, it's a blue collar town, is that we have to kind of pick ourselves up. So the employment aspect of not just jobs within the theater, but those supplemental, jobs that could be created in restaurants and hotels as a result of us creating an economic driver here, they're transformational. So I'm very hopeful. Yeah.
Yes. And Lompoc is a very diverse town, and we embrace that diversity. It's 50% Hispanic, Latino, and it's completely underserved. We're going to have salsa nights. We're going to have Spanish language movies. It's going to suddenly have a voice and a home. We have a proud community from the Philippines. We have a long-standing achievement from our African-American community. There's Pacific Islander. There's Native American. There's mixed race, and there's white guys like us. There's something for everyone, and everyone will enjoy the theater when it's open.
Yeah, something I'm most proud of Lompoc, and that's why I'm excited for the theater to host a lot of these voices. There's the idea of diversity. That's not an afterthought here. That is the reality. We have such a beautiful tapestry of citizens here and people that just want to see their ability to express themselves in an artistic way. So I'm so hopeful. Thank you for keeping your head down on this and for keeping us focused.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank
All right.
you.
Now, here they are. You know them and love them. They have been big supporters of this theater since this theater started. And it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Brad Hall and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Okay, hi, I'm Brad.
I'm Julia. Hello.
Okay, Julia.
Yes.
You're known around the globe as a Lompoc expert. In fact,
I am.
you are known as Lompoc Louis-Dreyfus.
That's correct.
So if we wanted to ask questions about Lompoc to anybody, you would be that person.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Some of our viewers from Facebook and Instagram and
Yeah.
on Twitter and in the Starbucks line this morning sent in some questions, and I'm going to ask you those questions.
Fabulous.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Which Santa Barbara County town
Mhm.
is filled with hardworking, mostly working class people who are ready to be entertained, but who are criminally underserved in the arts?
That would be Lompoc.
Lompoc. I'm
Lompoc.
sure that's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, what town has a theater where the Platters, Van Cliburn, the Coasters, Freddie Fender, the Moscow Ballet, and even Liberace have performed?
Lompoc.
Lompoc, the Lompoc Theater. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make that happen again. don't
We do, yeah.
Maybe with living performers. Okay, so here's another question.
All right.
Where in the county would they benefit most from diverse arts programming like Spanish language films, monthly salsa nights, where people could actually dance to bands, ballet folklorico, cultural programs from Central and South America? Is there a town in the county where 40% of the population has kids who are under 18 and are just dying for arts programming?
There is, Brad.
What?
It's Lompoc.
It's Lompoc again.
It's
That's
Lompoc again.
absolutely okay. You've convinced me. Lompoc's the perfect place
Yes.
to take a historical theater and renovate that theater. But who could possibly put together such a project?
Oh, I know.
Who?
Mark Harrier and the Lompoc Theater Project.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I just wrote a song about Mark Harrier and the Lompoc Theater Project.
You're kidding me. So did I.
Oh, you're kidding. Let's play. I hope it's the same song.
So do I.
All right. Okay, ready?
Yep.
When I was just a rowdy young cowpoke, I was riding down the trail with my gal.
That's me.
We came across a theater in Lompoc. They were in the middle of a dress rehearsal.
So cool.
It was a great big musical spectacular, the kind they used to do on Broadway.
New York.
I can't describe it, I don't have the vernacular. Let's just say it was a hell of a play.
Sold out.
But when I awoke, it was just a dream. It was all in Mark Harrier's head, it would seem. The theater is actually a bit of a wreck. Our only hope is the Lompoc Theater Project. When they build it, we will come.
So can we
Yeah.
go home now? I think that's it, right?
Yeah,
Like we're done.
Drop the mic. No, we still have some more stuff. Still have some more stuff to do. But boy, oh boy, that's why they're so great. That's why they're so great.
Yes, I just if they are listening, I want her to know that I got my dance moves from her back in the 90s. And anybody who see me dance will tell you that I look just like that. So just throwing that out there.
I'm sorry.
I got the high kicks too. But I want to give us a quick update, and then I want to introduce a real dancer next, if that's okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so let me give you a quick update on our thermometer here. We are currently at 17 and a half, which is pretty good. So we are growing and growing and growing, and every little bit counts, and people have been very excited. So I think
we
we're
have
doing
about
well.
40 minutes left to get that up.
Yes, well, or an hour. I think we'll probably talk a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I'd love to introduce our next performer. She also performed from the stage of the Lompoc Theater. This is an amazing dancer from the Garcia Dance Studio here in Lompoc. She also was the very first Lompocian to win the Spirit of Fiesta, which has been going since 1949. So we are really, really overdue, right?
Yes. It's a big deal.
Yes. So next up, we have Miss Elena Velasco performing a Guajira flamenco.
So the Spirit of Fiesta is a title given to a dancer, and they basically embody all of Fiesta, the people, the events, the music, almost everything. And it was a really big deal for me this year because there's never been a spirit from my studio here in Lompoc. You know, for the longest time, even when I was little, I thought there's no way I could be a spirit because it's only for the people in Santa Barbara, it's only them. And I thought that until my director had me try out for Junior Spirit of Fiesta. And I had done that, and it really was like, oh, I can do this. I can totally do this. So after that, I really lit a fire under my butt, and finally, last year I got selected to be Spirit of Fiesta, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm so happy to represent my entire town in my studio. Well, it really put us on the map, you know, because in Santa Barbara, sometimes our reputation is like Lompoc is, you know, small, dirty, you know, not really anything special there, but we have so many special things here, like just this theater, the museum over there, and my studio, so many other studios, you know, our high school, we have a dance team, so many amazing people come out of sports and arts from these high schools and schools, and it's just like, we don't get enough credit. And I think finally, from me, hopefully, we'll get more respect. Well, I know when I was little and we would always drive past this theater, I was like, I want to go inside, I want to see what's in there. And being able to perform and just dance on here is just like so surreal because I've never been in here, and I know there's little kids that were like me that just want to get inside and like get their imagination going and create and inspire. I love going on stage and performing and just seeing people's smiles after. It literally just brightens me up, and that's what I want to do. I just want to make people happy. I want to make people smile with my art.
pensando que tú estás en y son boca, que cuando la boca canta y entra el corazón llorando.
Right?
Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh.
Lompoc proud, baby. Lompoc proud.
Very much so. That fan, the first time I heard it when she was practicing, I was in the room, and when she first like flung it open, I literally jumped. Like was like, what was that? Who's here?
No, that's truly wonderful. And I just see that and I'm just like, let's open this place. Let's open this place.
Yes.
It was just shot really beautifully too. It was wonderful.
I'm so excited. Well, when I watched her in there, I felt like it really moved me. I felt like I could imagine myself in there and having it be open, and
Yeah. So if you're watching and you can't support a performer just like that, then I don't want to know you.
I love it. Well, we have another local performance next. Are you ready for it?
I am.
All right. So next up, we have Jacob Cole and Friends, and he is just going to be rocking out with a full band. So when we tune into this, turn it all the way up. He's going to be playing with his brother, Samuel Cole, and he's going to be on drums. And Jacob Cole and Samuel Cole, their parents were actually founding members of the Lompoc Theater Project. So Brian
Their dad
Cole
was the first president.
Yes, exactly. Brian Cole and Danelle Martin. So they're part of the reason why you and I are here and we're doing this. So I think that's a really big deal. He's also going to be playing with Gray Bear Erickson on lap guitar, and then Wesley Hill. And that was on, I'm so sorry, on bass and backup vocal. So they have a full band. This was actually the first time that they played together for this particular song. And so it was just really fun to watch them get in sync. So yeah, I'm going to play that next. So here is Jacob Cole and Friends.
So my name is Jacob Cole, and I'm playing Easy Street. It's a new song coming out soon. And I'm joined by my brother on drums, Gray Bear Erickson on lap steel guitar, and then Wesley Hill from The Only Ocean. And we're just kind of going for it, little ad hoc band today. So my history with this place is it was always sort of this like giant, beautiful building that we weren't really allowed to participate in. Even growing up, it had already basically shut down. But the one experience I had playing here, I was lucky with a sort of like my middle school, early high school band, and we did a set for Joyce Howerton, who was mayor at the time, and she was, I think, running for re-election or something. And that was the last time I've been in this theater, so 15 years ago. It's nice to be back. It's got a lot of vibe. I keep looking at the rafters, and I just want to explore. It's a gorgeous piece of history, and I feel honored to be a part of it. Having a space like this will draw bigger artists that ideally you can pair with local artists. I mean, in my mind, that is the easiest thing. But to make it happen, you know, we need the support not only of the community, but of all these fine people tuning into this telethon. So I think it's just something that will help set this community apart. There's statistical data pointing to theaters like this in small towns across America that have made a difference in enriching communities such as our own. So I truly believe it can benefit us. Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming, and it should happen. And I'd love to see it, you know, before I'm old and gray. So let's make it happen.
Fears that you
so full. I'll just stay on easy street till you tell me. I'm thinking about it. See, there's no such thing as fair. That might have some weight to it, but I don't really know when to care. See that this bothers you, and I make my intentions clear. Said you tried so hard, I made up until I started seeing someone new. I didn't even know his name. Feels like you know regardless that you're happy and maintain. Since that's something special you've been searching for, I think it's just security knocking at your door. Love was easy, I made it more. I truly crazy, trying to support. I never meant to get so far. I'll just stay on easy until you tell me you want me.
I really hope you were all just rocking out to that like the whole time, because I was.
Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And the connection from father to son with this project, it really resonates with this old man.
Big time. So I just wanted to remind everybody, I know there's been a little bit of trouble with the phone number. So it is texting only. So we aren't actually taking any phone calls. We probably should have maybe done that, but yeah. So if you are having trouble calling in to donate, this is not a callable number, but you can go to our website too. It's lompoc.theater.org in order to donate. Just use the little form next to the thermometer. So I wanted to mention that. And we're almost at 20,000. I just want to point that out really quick. We are almost at 20,000. We are so close to that. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo. So there's that. And then I will let Jason introduce our next guest, if that's okay, Mark.
Okay.
All right.
This ought to be fun.
Here we go.
Up next, we have my good friend, San Francisco resident, but Santa Maria native, drag queen extraordinaire. We're so excited to have her, Grace Towers.
Hola amores, aquí Grace Towers in San Francisco. I wanted to send you so much love, lots of gratitude for the Lompoc Theater Project for putting on this exquisite fundraising campaign. Of course, coming from Santa Maria, para todos los que no saben, I'm from Santa Maria, and the arts, theater, and dance really saved my life, darlings. During a time where I was really trying to find myself, my voice, and my expression, and creativity. The process of theater and the arts really saved my life, I could say. So please continue to support where you can and how you can. This is a wonderful project, and I can't wait to come back and see the fruits of all of these endeavors. Congratulations to the Lompoc Theater Project, and I cannot wait to see what happens with this project. Besos, sending you lots of love.
Yeah. Grace Towers. You may remember a few minutes ago I was talking about diversity. Well, I meant it. We're going to have lots of different acts on this stage. Rest assured, we're going to have your country western, but we're also going to have hip hop and rap. We'll have your heavy metal, but we'll also have classical ballet. We'll have Christian rock, and we'll have the occasional drag queen, because everybody will be represented. There will be somebody on that stage who's going to inspire some kid to be all that they can be. And while you might not like the act that we have on a Wednesday, you're going to love the next act on a Thursday. Everyone will have a voice in this theater. Everyone will be a part of it. Because the one thing that I know, having been in the entertainment industry and arts for a long time, is that since we were caves, art elevates community. It happens. It's the essence of civilization. Art elevates community, and diversity elevates art. And that's what we're going to all be about. And of course, I talk about diversity. So of course, I'm going to be a white guy introducing the next white guy. Yeah, diversity. Would you please welcome an amazingly funny guy, Mr. Richard Karn. Welcome, Richard Karn.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for coming on for the Lompoc Theater Project. You and I have a history of historical theaters.
We do. We have a long history going way back to the 80s. I don't know if people are that old to remember the 80s, but boy, it was a whole nother century.
I hate to tell you, it was the late 70s. But anyway.
Oh my God, you're right. It was. That's how long ago it was.
Yes, it is. But we both cut our teeth in a historical theater in Seattle, Washington. It was called the Showboat. And it literally was a showboat, like with a paddle wheel and all that.
It almost looked like oil lanterns on the side where people were sitting.
Anyway, it was a wonderful, magical space, and it doesn't exist anymore because people just didn't come to its aid, didn't come to rescue it, and that's why we're here tonight. So you've done Home Improvement. You've done, now you're doing Assembly Required, a new hit show for the History Channel. How's that going?
Oh my God, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. I mean, Tim brought me on basically because he didn't want to be a host. And I kind of learned hosting on the fly with Family Feud.
Family Feud, maybe?
Yeah. And I hadn't done that before. I hadn't done non-scripted. It was very scary to think that you don't have writers backing you up with jokes. You're either funny or you're not, or whatever. But with this show, on Assembly Required, Tim and I have a history, obviously, going back 30 years now, and we're very comfortable with each other, and I think it shows. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I for one am thrilled that you're on the History Channel because being an old man, that's always been one of my favorite channels. And especially, I'm one of those pathetic humans that watch The Curse of Oak Island, which comes before you. And these poor guys have been, digging for 8 years, and they get excited when they find wood.
That's more than Geraldo found.
Yeah, that's true. But we at the Lompoc Theater Project have been digging for our own treasures, and we have discovered things in the theater. And
You've been digging in your own theater?
Well, yes, in back rooms and stuff. And look at what we came up with. We found original programs from a Mickey Mouse Club.
Wow.
That used to be in the theater. And there's all these original illustrations in this. Here's an original membership card.
Holy
Look at
smokes.
that.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. That's
and
amazing.
It has a little anthem in the back, the Mickey Mouse Club Creed. And I thought it was so cool because I grew up watching, Jimmy and Cubby and Bobby. And I remember my very first TV crush was Annette.
I know. Well, you're not alone there, but I'm not sure you realize that was the TV show in the 50s. What you're showing me was Walt Disney started that Mickey Mouse Club in the movie theaters.
Well, yeah, here it is. The original receipt for the license in the campaign book. I don't know if you can see it, 1131. So yeah, I as you say this, I kind of remember it was from the 30s. Yeah. I think that they had it, if I remember correctly, they had it in every single theater in America.
Well, then you're not remembering correctly. I mean, come on, they had 1,400 of these worldwide, but only
1,400.
1,400. Lompoc was in there, so that's pretty cool.
Well, yes, it is. It is pretty darn cool. Here it is. I thought that what you knew is about tools and acting, and here you're schooling me on Mickey Mouse. I guess I was wrong about that too.
I know things. I worked for Disney.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. At least Lompoc managed to sneak in right at the very end. So
I don't think so, Mark. I mean, hold that back up again. I think. Well, hold up the membership card again. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Lompoc chapter was number 319. So, frankly, you're one of the early ones.
Well, yes, we were.
Yes, you were.
How about that? Well, I suppose you know that we had our own song with lyrics given to us by Walt Disney himself. I suppose you already knew about that.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Okay. Well, would you like me to sing it?
I've done musicals with you.
Okay, we have.
Yes, I do.
I'm singing it regardless. We're the gang they call Little Mickey Mice down in Lompoc, and we're mighty nice. Whether fat or skinny, we're the horses winning regular Little Mickey Mice. Every week we meet at the matinee, and there's joy and oh boy, and a big hooray. I just have to squeal with the pride I feel when we all join in this song. Mickey's song in Lompoc verse. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, you have unearthed some amazing things. I think you should have your own channel on the History Channel.
Yes, the Lompoc Theater Restoration. It could last as long as The Curse of Oak Island, I think.
There is no curse in Lompoc.
There is no curse in Lompoc.
I did that just to bug you.
Okay, I know. You have my entire life.
And I hope you guys do really well. I mean, the community certainly is enjoying this. And imagine the theater that you're going to be able to bring to that, both movies and live, right?
Yes, and we will have nights where we do sort of like the Actors Studio, where we have people like Osei Yu coming live and we can ask you questions and you could try to answer them. Apparently, you know everything.
I would love to do that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
You're welcome. And good luck.
Thank you.
And you know what, everybody? Give generously.
Yeah. Yeah. Lompoc. Okay. He's been doing that, and he's not the only one. There's several of my friends know that that's the way they can get to me, is just say, oh, you're from Lompoc. And, Jeremy talked about it earlier. Yes, it is Lompoc. It is Lompoc. It is a Chumash name. And the Chumash are a proud indigenous people who were here from the very beginning in the beautiful Lompoc Valley. And Lompoc is a word that means lagoon. And it's a Chumash word. And they have a lovely casino and resort just down the road. They do a lot of good things for the county and for the people. And it is Lompoc. So let's just get that. But one more thing. We did find other treasures in the theater. I didn't do it on this particular occasion, but Ann Ramsey, who you met, and Mike Sewell, they were cleaning some stuff out, and they found in the walls. Wait, how do I do this? Yeah,
you're good.
You're good. Yeah, this. Look at this. These were used as filler in about a 2-inch gap between one wall and the other. These are original movie posters from back in the day.
Preach.
Yes. John Wayne, there you go, The Long Voyage Home. Here's another one. Today only double feature.
I feel like you're trying to make up for things, Mark, because not only did Rick Karn school you on the history of the Mickey Mouse Club at the theater, he also had way better audio than you. And
I'm an old guy.
I feel like you're just you're bringing out all these things to show that you're still a good human being, and you're trying to keep your job, but it's a volunteer position, and you've already done so much. So I'm not firing you. I just want you to know that.
All right, thank you. Where's Daniel Roy when I need him?
Well, I do want to quick note. We did hit over 20,000. It's just really, really quick. We're at 21,000. So I just want to mention that, which is
we're getting there. We're getting
super
there.
Super exciting. We've also had some people.
I saw a donation on my computer that came in that helped. That might have been from my wife. I'm not sure.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm very excited. So I think we're doing great, and we still have the live silent auction online going. So if you bought VIP tickets and you didn't get an email or something happened, something went to spam, please message us directly on lompoctheaterproject.org. Not .org. Lompoc Theater Project Facebook page, and somebody will message you back with a link, and you can get your last minute bids in. So we want to raise as much money as possible through all different avenues tonight, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We'll get there.
Awesome. Well, I'm very excited with where we already are. So we are almost at the end of the show, but please do not tune out. We will see my friend Julia again a little bit later as well. Yep.
And there's 4 more great acts.
So next up, we have just an incredible singer, Caitlin Chewy. If you are a Lompoc local, you might have heard her and her dad play at maybe a restaurant here in town or at a winery. She also won the 2018 Lompoc Flower Festival. She was the Lompoc Flower Festival queen. And
that's a big deal.
Big deal, right? She is currently a student at Pepperdine, and she is studying, guess.
Music.
Yes. So she is amazing. So I'm very excited to introduce Miss Caitlin Chewy.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Chewy, and today I'm singing an original song called Small Town Girl. Recently, especially since quarantine, since I've been cooped up in my house, I've been writing my own songs, and one that I sang today. So I was raised in Lompoc. I've been here my whole life, as long as I can remember. I went to elementary school, middle school, and I graduated from Cabrillo High School in 2018. I started music at around age 11 or 12. I started taking voice lessons with Joyce Michaels, and I would do these voice recitals, and my dad began to accompany me on the guitar. And a couple years later, my brother started taking drum lessons from Randall Senat, Certain Sparks, and slowly we began forming this little family band with my dad on guitar, my brother on drums, and me singing, and it just really brought us all together. A big community that I'm a part of in Lompoc is the music community, and I know so many like musicians here in town, and I miss so much going and like watching people perform, and there's just so many talented people here in Lompoc. Like when I think about it, I love performing at wineries and festivals and restaurants, but those places aren't really the sole focus of music. It's more of kind of like, oh, I'm here with like my family and I'm eating a meal, and oh look, there's like a musician here. But if there's a theater, like people come here to watch and appreciate art, and it's just like in its raw form without like background chatter or without like people coming and going. Like they're just there and focusing on the art.
Doorstep of my childhood home. There was a time when the path that I'm on seemed so easy to follow, but now that same path looks overgrown. For 20 whole years I've been here standing on the same 2 feet, and it seems that my heart has grown 2 feet of room. She's walked right out of me and into someone else's home, only to be left out in the cold. And time has shown me love and knocked me down and watched me grow and change. I have come to learn is simply unavoidable, and I'm a small town girl in a big wide world. Long gone are the days when we would drive downtown after gazing at the night sky. And way back then, all the stars that seemed so in reach. But the more mountains I climb, I continually find that things aren't so easy. But it's the climb that we need. And time has shown me love and knocked me down and watched me grow. Change I've come to learn is simply unavoidable, and I'm a small town girl in a big wide world. Oh, time slips away so fast, but I am here, loving what is mine, and I won't ever forget where I came from. And time has shown me love and knocked me down and watched me grow and change. I've come to learn is simply unavoidable, and I'm a small town girl
Wow. That's the first time I saw that. And she's a small town girl, but she's got a big time future. That was just wonderful. I'm a little bit verklempt. I'm a little bit verklempt. As a small town boy who was raised by a garbage man who got to see his son go on Broadway, and my mother got to take a Polaroid of a picture of my movie playing at the Lompoc Theater. This is what it's all about for me, is these young talents to have their chance like I did. Sorry, didn't see that coming. Hey, let's move on. Did you know that Lompoc used to have an opera house? I don't know if you did, but we did. There it is. It was built in 1890, and it was a magnificent building. It housed all of the operas, and they even had they'd take out the chairs and roller skate inside. It was town dances. It was the center of the town at the time. This is what that opera house looks like today. Yeah, it's not the same thing at all. That's a nice little building. It's a nice business that's there. Used to be a bowling alley, then it was a sleep shop, and they tore down the opera house. Lompoc's first bank, it was Lompoc Valley Bank, and then it became Security National Bank. And it was, there it is, magnificent edifice. It was in the center of town. You'll see in the next picture, it was right by the theater. There's the front of the theater, and there's the back of the bank. Magnificent building. This is what it looks like today. Yeah, it's an empty lot. Sadly, I could go on and on because Lompoc, like many other towns, have destroyed some of its priceless historical buildings in the hopes of having some urban development and renewal. And the towns that haven't done that have been able to keep their character. And so that's why we're trying to save this theater. And there's one other amazing building. It's called the Lompoc Land Office. It is the oldest commercial structure in Lompoc. It was built in 1875. It was ground zero for the streets being named, for people buying land there. It was, if you came to Lompoc, that was where you started. It was the only building in town. Here's what it looks like today. Yo, it's still standing. It's still standing, thank God. And you know what? Even better, we own it. Through a design flaw in the original theater, the Knights of Pythias were really great about making a building, and they made a vaudeville with fly towers, but they didn't really figure out that performers might need, dressing rooms. And so the land office was moved from the front street back and attached to the back of the theater, and it served as a dressing room. Liberace dressed in there, Van Cliburn, if you can imagine. You see on the side of the building, it says MJBY, and that was part of an ad campaign by the coffee company out of San Francisco. You see, 1905 to 1910 is when they had that ad campaign. So we think it was painted in 1905, and it still stands today. So thank God we not only get to save the theater, but we get to save the land office. We got a $100 donation from Dallas, Texas, from a Deborah Reynolds. And it's like, why are you donating money? Because you might not ever go to this theater. She says, I just love historical places and I want to preserve them. Well, if you don't live in Lompoc, I think that's a good reason to give us money. But here we are finally at the time where we are going to show the renderings of what the theater will look like when it's done. 196 Architects, we contracted with them. They actually gave us a nice donation tonight. Thank you. And this is what the theater is going to look like when we're finally done. There you go. Isn't she beautiful? You can see the land office is moved to within 15 feet of where it stood originally. So now when the people come to town, they'll come to the visitor center, which we want to make that, and their whole journey to Lompoc will start where it started 150 years ago. We have a 2-story add-on, which will have dressing rooms and a place to rehearse. It will be an event center. You can get married. You can have quinceañeras there. We can seat 200 people. We'll have an outdoor courtyard protected from the famous Lompoc wind. It will be the beating heart and soul of our town. It will change everything. You'll be able to meet the artists like Buddy Guy and whoever else is there. And those glass walls is the green room. It'll be like a House of Blues kind of a concept, and you'll be able to mingle with the stars after the show. It changes everything. It changes everything. And we're so excited that we're going to get this done. So my next guest, I will have to introduce him because you will have seen him. If you've ever watched a movie or seen a television show, you've seen him. It's Troy Evans, and here he is. And here he is. Yes, it is Mr. Troy Evans, America's greatest actor. One of those guys that you know his face and you didn't know his name until. Welcome, Mr. Troy.
Yeah, more people might recognize me as that guy. Are you that guy?
You've done how many episodes of television in your career?
I believe, it's hard to believe, but I think I've done upstairs of 400 episodes.
Of various series.
I did 129 just of ER.
Yeah.
And then like 30 or 40 China Beaches and
that many
25
Bosch.
or so Life Goes On. So what?
Many Bosches.
Yeah, about 65 or so Bosches.
Wow.
And then everything else in the last 40 years, pretty much that's had a cop in it. I've been a cop.
I did a little research, and you and I have come from similar backgrounds, besides our own personal background. I was born in Lompoc. You were raised in Cowbell, Montana.
Yeah. Born in Missoula.
Both were small towns. Both had ranching, agriculture, sort of blue collar background. And both of them had a movie theater that we would call the walk-in as opposed to a drive-in. But I remember you telling this story once that you had a similar experience. Tell us about that.
I was not a theater kid. I wasn't in the plays at school, and I was active in a lot of stuff, but that was not where my interest lay. And I went to the movies, but not as a movie buff, just to, go see the Cowboys or see whatever. And then at the Strand Theater, we actually had two in Kalispell,
Wow.
the Strand and Liberty. But this happened to be in the Strand Theater, and very unusual for up in the boondocks up there. But they had a Fellini movie, and it was Fellini's.
I've never
kind of a documentary almost, but done incredibly artistically. But I went just because it was called Clowns. The Clowns. How bad could it be? And for the first time in my life, I sat there in the Strand Theater and I watched that movie. I watched this piece of art and I was stunned by it. And when the movie was over, my friends all left and everyone else left. And I was just sitting in the theater. And I just sort of went out and kind of wandered home. But it really changed my life because it was the first time I realized that there was more to it than just, and then Gene Autry shot this guy, and it was and that opened my eyes to the importance of exposing people, not necessarily because they want to be actors or they want to be in that business or they, but just to broaden their horizon, to make their lives a little richer. To have, that's 60, probably 60 years ago now, and it's still vivid in my mind.
Did you know after that you wanted to be an actor?
No. my plan was to be president of the United States. And I don't mean euphemistic. I mean, that was my grandfather had been a state senator in Montana. And that gave me the idea. And by the time I was in grade school, my plan was to go to college, go to law school, be in the legislature, be the governor of Montana, be the senator from Montana, and run for president.
You've played enough politicians in your life to have done that.
Well, the beauty of it is on Veep, about, I guess it's 2 years ago, out of the blue, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's people called me and said, would you like to play the senator from Montana? I thought, I checked it off. It's on my bucket list, and I did it. I'm the senator from Montana. So yeah.
So of all the things you've done, what's your favorite? Or do you have a few that you can talk about?
Well, right very near the top is the job I've been on the last few years that fortunately you and I have both worked on this wonderful show on Amazon called Bosch. And what a treat that is that we worked together in was it 76 or 77?
Yeah.
And then in 2019, 2020, we're together doing this cop show in LA.
Crazy
whatever that
world.
is, 44 years later.
And all because both of us went to our theaters and were inspired enough to have our world expanded.
I want to come up and do my one-man show in that.
I can't wait. In fact, I already have you on the. I made out an entire year's schedule, and Montana Tales, which is your one-man show, is one of the first things we do. Thank you, Troy, for coming. Really appreciate your participating.
I think it's such a noble, wonderful thing you're doing, and I'm 1,000% with you.
Thanks, Troy.
He's so
What a
awesome.
Yeah. He's wonderful. You could literally for hours, and he'll go for hours, listen to him tell stories. It's one of the highlights of my life. And I can't wait for him to be in the theater to be able to do that.
Well, I'm
It'll be
happy to
great.
finally know his name. So I feel
Yes,
good about that.
yes. And the thing is that, Troy and Jeff McCarthy and Jeff Combs, Brad Hall, all of us were at PCPA at one time. And we all then went on to different things. And PCPA will be a part of the Lompoc Theater's future because they do a program that I actually acted in way, way long ago. It's called PCPA in the Schools. And what they do is they go around, and we would go around to schools, and we perform in like cafeterias, and we perform in, auditoriums and that sort of stuff. But when they come to Lompoc, when the theater is done, we'll bus the kids in from all of those schools so that they can perform live in the theater. And these kids in Lompoc will see live theater, most of them for the first time in their lives, and it'll blow their minds and keep the greatest art form the world has ever known alive for another generation. So I can't
love
wait
it.
for that to happen.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we introduce Julia again, who is going to be introducing another special guest, I
Yes.
want to do a few things. I want to update you on the thermometer. We
Okay.
have had about $1,000 in donations that have come through another button on our website. So it's not going to show on the thermometer. So I want you to know that the thermometer is about $1,000 behind. And
Okay.
that is my fault. It's a error in the design, but
Yeah.
we are
all
almost
good.
we are technically almost at 23,000. So that is
Okay.
super exciting. And we
Yes.
still have the auction going. I think we're already at about 10,000 just with the auction, and then your ticket sales. And so it's just all gravy at this point. So I'm just really excited.
Yes. I am too.
Should I introduce my friend Julia? again?
Yes, your
Okay.
dance partner.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, I'm so excited to welcome back Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who is going to be introducing her son and an incredible musician. So here we go.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. And now I'd like to introduce you to one of my absolute favorite performers, Henry Hall, who hopes one day that he'll be able to play on the Lompoc Theater stage.
Hi, everybody. I'm Henry Hall. I'm a musician in that I play music, makes me a musician. Very happy to be here to play some music for you to support the Lompoc Theater. And I'm going to go ahead and play a song of mine called 13 Besties. So thanks for having me, and see you later.
I got what you need, Nelly. You can count on me. Kathy, anything for real. Freddie, put your trust in me. Raymond, anything you want. Amber, get for you to flaunt. Santa, just a twist of lime. And it's time after time. Jonathan, I don't see why I can't show my love to you guys. 13 besties, no need to cry. You are my guy, one of 13 besties. I'm an open book, you seem. Give you open looks, Kareem. I'll be there by 5. Trudy, oh, let's make that night. Trudy, and I don't see why I can't show my love to you guys. 13 besties, no need to cry. You are my guy, one of 13 besties. Will, I love you most, and our place up the coast that I only use with you, just like best friends do. And despite what Emma said, oh, there are 12 other friends. Will, there's only you. I don't see why I can't show my love to you guys. 13 besties, no need to cry. You are my guy, one of 13 besties.
Thanks. Bye.
That was so much fun. I've been playing my air guitar like when I was like hearing that, like no.
Yeah. I don't know what I envy more, that voice or the collection of Simpsons memorabilia behind him. He is really unique, really wonderful. He was just on the Tonight Show not too long ago, and he killed it. And I encourage you to go on YouTube because he has some other videos, and it is a magical and unique voice that will do something.
Have you confirmed whether or not he has 13 best friends? Because I think that's a lot of best friends to have to juggle.
I think if anybody had 13 best friends, that would be a guy that would be able to have 13 best friends.
Well, yeah. it has been quite the earworm. I will definitely say that I've been like waking up in the middle of the night and like thinking about that song. It's like it's gotten stuck in my head.
And Brad and Julia, they did the Lompoc song, and that has been tormenting me now for days. And
yes, it's a good torment. We should make that our theme song here in Lompoc.
Torment.
I'm going to petition the Lompoc City Council to make that our theme song, and I think I have a little bit of sway. But don't tell anybody. I'm not trying to like change things exactly.
And going forward, she will always be Lompoc Louis Dreyfus to me.
Very much so. I
she'll rue the day she said that.
All right, Mark. So I think that's kind of like the end of our show. We're at thank yous. We're at the thermometer. What do we want to say? What can we do to get people to just?
Well, I want to say, first of all, this texting thing is not over. We're going to be keeping this going for the next week. We're going to put this on our website.
Yes.
And the people who couldn't, and there were a lot of people who said they couldn't watch it tonight, they'll be watching it over the next few days. We're already, with the auction and everything, around $35,000. We will get to 50 by the end of the week.
Yep.
And so I want to thank all of you that have donated. There's some people in particular I want to thank who donated some good big bucks.
Okay.
There was Debbie Shaw. There was the Surf Connection, 196 Architects, who are architects, and they are doing wonderful things for us. We got some guy named Eric Overmeyer gave us a delightful gift, and I see that my wife has done so as well. And there's Consuelo Macedo has given us $1,000 from the Arthur Stewart Trust Fund in memory of her brother Art. Thank you so much, Prima. Really appreciate it.
They really helped us kick it off tonight. So that's where
our
10
matching
grand kind of
money.
starting point came from. So
Yes, and last but never least, they have been some of our biggest supporters for many years now. Royce and Diane Smith, $5,000.
Amazing.
Thank you for all you do.
So much.
Yes. So I would like to thank Jeff Combs, Rona Barrett, Tom Bergeron, Brad Hall, Julia Louis Dreyfus, Jeff McCarthy, Richard Karn, Troy Evans, Henry Hall. Can you believe they were all here? They really were. Thank you all for your generosity. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your spirit and your huevos. Really, truly appreciate it on behalf of a worthy cause.
Big time. And I would like to thank all of the local performers. Obviously, we had so many incredible local artists. We had the Simmons sisters. We had Angie and the Nightmares. We had Jacob Cole and friends. We had Caitlin Chewy and Elena Velasco. And they were just, I feel like they were exhibit A as to why this is so important. I'm so excited about this. I hope I will get to see a performance inside the theater from one of them in my lifetime.
You will.
I really hope so. And then I would also like to thank my hubby, Jeremy Ball. He was responsible for filming and editing those performances. He does a really good job. I give him a lot of, I just want him to do better all the time. I just want him to keep getting better.
And Jay, don't forget Jay.
Of course not. No, Jay was responsible for the sound too. And he brought in his own sound equipment on the second shoot. So the audio quality that you probably could see keep getting better. Just from Jay's amazing equipment, along with Eugene Choi and Carson Link. They helped Jeremy with a lot of the filming. So there were like 5 different cameras going. We had all these different camera angles, and it was just pretty incredible. So
yes, thank you, everyone. If you watching now, you might have detected the motif that art elevates community.
Yes.
You don't have to have a career in the theater or in the arts to be elevated by that art.
I feel elevated, and I'm not I don't have a career in the theater.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm lifted already.
Yeah, this is a project for the town. This is a project that changes the town forever. I thank you for watching. I'm now going to start having a little Pinot And thank you, most of all, I want to
Cheers.
thank Michelle, you. You did this. You technically did it. You pulled it off. This was not an easy feat, not an easy thing, and you did it. God bless you, darling. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited we pulled it off, and I just can't believe we did. So
Donate.
yes,
Donate.
donate. We will
There's the, don't call it, text it at the bottom.
text it to that number. We will announce the final number on Monday of where we landed. Don't forget that the auction closes tonight at 9 p.m. So get your last minute bids in. There's so many awesome items, and every single dollar goes directly to us. So be generous, I would say. And we'll let you know where we landed. And then what else, Mark?
This, bye.
Yeah, I do want to let you know, if you, for some reason, had trouble or something dropped out, we will be posting this on our Facebook page. We'll upload it to Vimeo afterwards and post it on there, so you'll be able to access the full video. And then you can always click back and watch the full live video on Facebook as well. So.
And I encourage you to get the $20 ticket, because there's outtakes with Troy and with Rick Karn and with Jeff Combs, who does a mighty fine Bill Shatner that you don't want to miss. So $20 get you that ticket.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm so excited. And I just really quick, before we totally close out, I want to thank you, Mark. You have been just such a trooper for this project. You have been a diehard, and you don't even live here anymore. And I think that's just like incredible that you are so passionate about this project, and your spirit is contagious. So
I was born there. I will be buried there. It is my town.
So we're going to have a tomb for you underneath the stage. Is like, we'll have to put that in the plans. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay, we can figure that out someday.
Well, I love it. All right, people. All right. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been such a big success for us, and we appreciate you, and thank you. And that's it.
Good
Cheers.
night. Thank you all.
Cheers.
Thank you all.
Good night.